Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm coming at you with a solo episode today, which is a little bit different than normal. But I felt really called to have a just a brief, quick solo episode on one of the main tools that we use in our business, which is bioresonance scanning. And over the last few weeks and even today alone, I was on two podcasts and we just everybody's so intrigued by what the heck bioresonance is, how it can help, why I made this transition from what I was doing into more of this bioenergetic space. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna we're gonna record a quick solo episode on this to try to answer some questions, try to kind of create some clarity, and just help you understand a little more on how incredible this modality is, and why I am truthfully obsessed with it, and why people are just seeing so much better, quicker, just more well-rounded results with this modality. So um, we'll kind of just jump right into it on, what is bioresonance? A lot of people have never even heard of this word before. First of all, there's a lot of different, bioenergetic styles of testing. Um, I specifically have software and computer that I can program and utilize specific to my practice, things that I particularly, like or dislike. And why that's really important is I think um, you can go to different sorts of modalities. You can even go to somebody that does the exact same thing as I do and have a completely different experience based off of one kind of like their background, their knowledge, but also maybe how their software is set up too, and kind of what things come up. Um, but anyways, bioresonance at its core is really it's a non-invasive energetic test, and it reads the electromagnetic frequencies emitted by your body. Um, really every organ, every cell, every system in your body communicates using frequency, kind of like its own unique, Wi-Fi signal, or like something that I like to tell clients. It's like you have your own phone number, and we're kind of tapping into that. And at any point, we can kind of access that and call you and be able to help you through these specific frequencies that we kind of see through your body. But when those frequencies become distorted, whether it's stress, pathogens, inflammation, toxins, emotional trauma, that's a big one, or energetic imbalance, bioresonance can really detect those disruptions and compare them to optimal healthy frequency patterns. So um, what's really cool about this practice is it's pain-free, obviously. There's no blood, there's no poking, there's no pooping in a cup if you're familiar with functional labs. Um, there's no stress involved. We utilize, or we're able to kind of tap in using hair, saliva, or fingernail samples, from the client along with their age and birthday, name, to tap into their body's unique, frequency levels. Versus what I was doing was like if we were sending a hair to a lab, that's testing more on like the protein level, what's going on, versus again more of that energetic level, which is what we do now. So they're very different. And this really is rooted in quantum physics. Like that's something that I really want people to understand is this isn't just a woo-woo. Like I am an incredibly logical person. I love labs and I love reading things in an incredibly logical way, but when you've been in this work for so long, you realize that that's only going to get you so far. And that's actually why I made the transition into more bioenergetics and bioresonance was, after working with thousands of women, I mean, I've worked with so many women over the last few years and own my own business for, many of those. And I love the work we're doing. And it's not that we weren't getting results, we were. But doing these labs, especially functional labs, we work with a lot of clients who, come in with some deeply rooted issues, a lot of hormone, gut, thyroid, metabolic dysfunction, metabolism issues, and they're kind of harder to crack cases. And, that's why they typically seek somebody that's not just, a nutrition and fitness coach, which is what I started off with 10 years ago, and they seek more of these alternative, medicine and, maybe functional lab testing options. And I thought that was next level, and it really is. And I still do love them to an extent. I just don't utilize them anymore because what we do is so much more comprehensive. But, what I was finding was it was missing a lot of the big picture. First of all, if you were doing like one lab, you know, it was only testing for those few things that are on that lab test. And these lab tests are an investment. Each lab test was anywhere from $300 to $700 a pop. And in order to get a really good comprehensive picture, you're usually needing to do, two, three, four of them, depending on what's going on. And even then, it's not giving us information on where the body wants to start right now on kind of working through. Um, and it doesn't take into account all of the emotional, really, all the emotional work that's really holding so many people back from healing. Because that at the root is really where a lot of people don't realize that maybe that's what's really sticky. That's why their body can't heal. That's why they've done all the labs. That's why they've done all the protocols. That's why they've gone to all the different practitioners, even functional, doctors or naturopaths, and they still haven't seen the results that they want. Or maybe they have, and it's either gone backwards or they just feel like they're stuck. I know that was me when I first got into functional labs and functional, medicine. I loved it. It was game changing for me with my autoimmune issues and just horrific, gut hormone, thyroid autoimmune issues, and I felt a lot better doing these labs going on a protocol, but then I was like, what's next? And I felt stuck. And I was like, okay, I do feel better than I did. And there's so much that's missing. So, when I wanted to figure out a way to merge this, more my logical brain with this, the energetic side, because I saw a lot of people when we brought in my somatic practitioner, and we did a lot more mindset work. We built out a nervous system course for our clients. We saw a lot of movement on their protocols. Go figure, because that's really, again, if your body doesn't feel safe and it's constantly in a state of, fight, flight, freeze, your body's not going to want to heal fully, right? But I was like, there's something deeper, and um, then when I was kind of going through what I wanted to kind of do step into next, a friend of mine actually came up to me and was talking about bioenergetics. And she was like, oh, you're going to think this is really weird. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And nothing in my body said no. The next day, I purchased the equipment, which is quite the investment, paid in full, never looked back, because I was like, this is it. And I knew, actually, a little quick story is my sister got really ill about 15 years ago. Nobody could figure out what was wrong. 15, maybe 20 years ago. She had to drop out of college, and nobody could figure out what was up. And my mom actually took her to somebody that did bioenergetics back, a long time ago. And within like 2 sessions, she was completely fine. And so when I heard about this again, I knew in my body, I was like, this is what I've been looking for again. And I never looked back. So it's been really life-changing for myself, for my family, for clients. Um, and there's just truly nothing like it. So I kind of tapped on some differences between, traditional and functional lab tests, but something I kind of didn't tap on was the labs really just show your chemistry, right? Your hormones, your vitamin levels, your blood work. Bioresonance shows your energy. How well things are functioning on a deeper level. And this is oftentimes before things show up on labs, even functional labs. So many, 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 most times people come to me saying, oh, my labs are fine. Everybody says they're normal, but I don't feel normal, right? You feel bloated, exhausted, anxious, tired, just like something's not right in your body, right? And so those can really show up on an energetic level before they show up on blood markers. And bioresonance can still pick up things like, heavy metal toxicity, mold, food sensitivities, nervous system dysregulation, liver burden, energetic blocked, and really trapped emotional imprints are really, really huge. And we can go so in depth on this as well. It's actually scary, like how accurate it can be. But what's nice about this too, granted, I also have to do my disclosure. This is not a diagnostic tool, right? It's a way to see like what your body is currently prioritizing. And that's what's very important about this work. And why I actually love bioresonance so much too, is it's only going to show up what your body's willing to, heal at this current moment. And it's very much like peeling away layers of an onion. So oftentimes, I mentioned mold, molds are really a huge problem right now for a lot of people, and they don't even realize it. But sometimes that won't even show up first thing on the scan. And it doesn't mean that's not a problem, or like Lyme is another big one, right? It just means that your body is trying to prioritize other things first. And once you get those things kind of cleared up, one, it can help clear up the other things, but two, the next scan might show some different things as your body's peeling away this onion and kind of healing one layer at a time. Versus like, when people go to functional doctors that say they do a Dutch, an organic acid test, GI math test, a HTMA, a Lyme test, a mold, they're doing $3,000 worth, $4,000 worth of tests. And like, then it's like, okay, but where's the body actually wanting to heal right now? And can we move things a little bit easier too? I will say it's not that this is necessarily easier, but it is in certain ways, because when we imprint, we do custom energetic frequencies into tinctures for clients. That energy alone helps clients move through things on a deeper level than just throwing supplements at them, right? And supplements have their time and place, but they are not the end all be all. And so that's why we see things just move quicker too, is when you move frequency, when you move energy, and you're also supplementing with the right things, your body's eating the right kinds of foods, you're understanding on a deeper level what's going on. I mean, the results are far, far deeper, far quicker for people. And it's nice too, because I don't have to, you know, have another $300-400 food sensitivity test. That's not going to honestly give me a lot of information, because chances are the food sensitivity for most people isn't the true root of the problem. It's, a hyperactive immune system, or, uh, nervous system response, gut issues, things like that. But, we can run many different scans on the body, like, food sensitivities, but we can go so deep into certain aspects like Lyme, mold, even specific things like Ehlers-Danlos is a pretty specific, thing that's actually a weird amount of clients have. I don't want to say weird, but just more than you would think, specific scans like that as well. And we don't just look at the meridians or the things that are wrong with them. It's also just different disturbances in the body, like with the teeth. That's a big one. A lot of times people with root canals, metal fillings, different things that they've had dental work, teeth directly correlate to different organs in the body. We can look at disturbances in, the different aspects of the spine that are causing some maybe energetic disruptions, things like that. So it's so in depth. Yeah. But it's not going to dig up, as I mentioned, every single thing that's possibly wrong with you at one time. It's going to really meet you where you're at. And so, yeah, I find that works a lot better with clients, in getting them to feel better. And just, gosh, so much clarity. When people come to me, the amount of clarity that they get with their symptoms is like, oh my gosh, where has this been my whole life? Um, it's truly mind-blowing, the feedback that I get. It's like people not only see a difference physically, but they feel seen and heard for the first time in a long time too. So that's kind of the beauty of a lot of this too. So, um, but really, I'll kind of wrap this up here, is just this work is really for so many people. And that's why, working with women for so long, I obviously still love working with women. That's very much the majority of our clientele, but it's been really great to also expand into men, children. That's a huge stressor on parents, and parents' health is when their children's health, nobody can figure out what's going on, and they can't really, um, say the things that are quite as wrong with their body as maybe an adult can. But um, the shifts in children are incredible. Men, obviously, when men feel better, especially if they're in a relationship, everybody feels better. The family is happier. You show up better for kids, for work, for everybody. And so I think that that's a really important aspect too, is giving men, you know the same support. But also we work with animals, and this is something I really don't talk about a lot, just because it's not my main focus. But I've worked on many, like, dogs and cats. We can work on horses. Haven't worked on birds, but I know I can. And goats. But that's been really mind-blowing as well, is being able to, when these dogs or cats have had skin issues or chronic infections or chronic, issues that they've been going to the vet for years and years and years for, and in a scan, I'm able to figure out exactly kind of like what energetically is going on in the body. Again, it's not a diagnosis, and be able to send them tinctures and different things to kind of help bring their body back into alignment. And within a month, they're feeling better. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's great. So, but it's not just for people that have, I don't want to say, things going on with them, right? Problems. That's a beautiful thing too. Like, yes, a lot of people use bioenergetics, so kind of this like last resort, right? Maybe they don't necessarily believe in it. It's kind of weird. They haven't heard of it. They want to go more traditional routes first. Totally understand that. But it really shouldn't be that too. I know when I first got into it, I was feeling great and I just wanted to learn how to feel better. Like, I just was like, how can I keep optimizing my body? And I just am curious on what these scans are going to show up. What's going to show up on them. And there's always, I mean, there's so many different signatures that always come up. And, on an average client session, we're running anywhere from 4 to 8 scans and, hundreds of signatures are going to come up. So it's just a very cool thing to see. Do you just want to optimize your body for better health, longevity, vitality? Or, are you dealing with some chronic health conditions like, chronic fatigue, joint pain, metabolic resistance, weight loss resistance, thyroid issues, hormone issues, things like that, fertility. Um, so, it's so beautiful to be able to work on so many different sides of the spectrum. So, and be able to give you a really comprehensive view on what's going on and a game plan, because that's the key too. It's like, yes, we can interpret the results, but how are we also going to implement this going forward? The different strategies, the different, tinctures, whether it's homeopathic, whether it's, the custom imprints, whether it's supplements, nutritional things we'll be able to see on the scan too, kind of help customize some nutrition tweaks, some movement, tweaks as well, just to make sure that your body is just, we're really looking at things very comprehensively. And giving you a solid game plan for the next few weeks. And I can guarantee pretty much that you will feel better. So, anyways, if this sparks something in you, I would love for you to reach out or check out our website. Our website is thewellnessparadigm.com. And there's a lot more information about what we do, the different services we offer, more about bioresonance scanning. You can read more about that. You can check out the FAQ section that, some different questions we typically get asked. I know right now, as I'm recording this, I have about a 2-month wait list, but by the time we air this, hopefully, I'll be able to take people on a little bit more readily who are wanting to get started. And so, yes, I'm so glad you guys are listening. I'm so excited to share this work with all of you. Feel free to DM me on my Instagram as well, shannon.salgi. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next show.